Hi you guys, Danny here. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I have been doing some recipe testing lately, and I have a couple of ideas that I want to put together, but there's a lot of recipes that I've been cooking over the years that I've made my own, and they've been kind of staples in our household for a long time. They've been in the rotation a long time. However, now that things are going to be getting busier for me, now that I'm going to be a single mom, and it's not just me anymore. It's going to be me and an infant, and he's going to get older. I'm going to be really, really busy. So I am looking to enhance those recipes that I'm already making and also create new ones. They're not necessarily always the healthiest. They are the cleanest that I can make them with as little ingredients as possible, with the most flavor. So I'm trying to work on 10 ingredients or less, if it's a really, really short cooking time. And also the same with 6 ingredients or less. And it doesn't matter if the cooking time is a little bit longer because it takes less time to prepare it. And my goal is to try and make it so that we're using more things that are staples in our pantry, like more of the condiments and spices and things like that most people have on hand. And if there is anything else to go out and get, it'll never be more than 4 to 5 or even 6 ingredients type of thing. So yeah, that's kind of my goal. I'm trying to put something to like a little project together where I can create or recreate recipes that I've been using and learning about and trying and make them my own so that they are simpler and more just faster to put together and to serve. We've still packed a lot of flavor, and then you can also cook abundance of, put them in the freezer, and that way you can just like quick grab and go type of meals when you're taking care of an infant or a toddler or whatnot. So that is my goal. That's a little project that I'm working on. So this one I'm showing you right now is what you're going to see is an Italian style smoked Gouda mozzarella smoked Gouda stuffed chicken meatball. So Italian style. Okay, it's not particularly Italian, but it's Italian style. And it's something that I looked at. I've made it before, but it didn't really turn out as well as I wanted it to. But it actually turned out pretty good this time. So I'm going to maybe enhance this just a little bit, refine it just a little bit more. But this is how it turned out, and it's actually delicious. Like, it really was delicious. I think there's a couple things I do want to tweak on it, but these are the Italian style smoked Gouda stuffed meatballs, chicken meatballs. Okay, so enjoy. This is it. All right, awesome. Here we go. Okay, so really what my goal is to make sure that we're only using as many items in our pantry, in our freezers, in our fridges as possible, that we actually don't have to go to the store for very many items. Really, my goal is less than 3 to 4 to 5 items, okay? So a lot of these we probably do already have in our freezers, fridges, or pantries. So this is where we're going from the back, from left to right. We are using 1 pound of ground chicken. We have some Italian style breadcrumbs. In this case, there's some Romano cheese in there. We have some Heinz ketchup. It is a condiment. Yes, it is not really Italian, but it does add a little bit of a sweetness flavor to kind of balance out a little bit of the crushed red pepper that you see there. We also have Himalayan pink salt. We have some black pepper, and then from the bottom, from the right to left, we have Parmesan cheese. We have 1 white onion. You could also use a yellow onion, but we're going to slice this in half and only use half of the onion. We have garlic cloves, and we're only going to use 4 for this recipe. Obviously, you can use more if you'd like. We have 1 egg, Italian leaf parsley, and of course the star of the show, which is the smoked Gouda, which is delightful and it melts very, very easily. Okay, so we're going to start with 1/3 a cup of the breadcrumbs, and then we're going to dice up the 1/3 a cup of Italian parsley. So I don't know exactly what the equivalent for the dried herbs is, but I read that 1/3 of the amount of what you're using in fresh herbs you should be using in dry herbs. So whatever that equates to in the dry herbs for the parsley, I cannot do math, so that is not happening. I do not know what the actual amount is, but that is the rule that I've heard. And then you're going to add 1 pinch of the red pepper flakes. You could also use chili flakes if you'd like, but add that in. And then about half a cup of the Parmesan cheese. You can also use Romano cheese or Asiago cheese. I like all 3. I'm kind of eyeballing it there, but you can then add the salt and pepper and use it as according to your taste, okay? Because I know some people like more pepper, some people like more salt, or less, vice versa. Then add your egg, and then just crack one egg. Make sure there's no shells in there, and then just separate your garlic cloves. And then I like to smash my garlic and separate those out. I usually do like to use a lot of garlic, but I'm really trying to test this recipe out, so just for my own taste buds. So 4 garlic cloves is pretty good. Some people may say that's a lot. It is really not a lot, especially if you have my background, which is Romanian, Italian, South American. So we like garlic on a lot of our foods. That's how I grew up. Garlic, garlic, garlic everywhere. So we're going to keep doing that. Just slice that up real nice and fine, as fresh as you can go. I like to dice it with a knife. Sometimes I'll use like a slap chop or whatever, but in this case it's just a knife, and that's as good as it goes. I'm going to slice the onion. Okay, white onions, oh my god, they make me cry so much, but I'm trying to do this really, really fast. I'm not the best at slicing onions, but we're going to get this done. So I like to use a cheese grater and just slice it up, but do watch out, because you will have some bigger slices off to the sides that may end up in your bowl that you may not even notice yet. You'll see me pick them out later, but just grate those, and my eyes at this point are welling up like nobody's business. Like, I'll tell you, nobody's business. So clearing those out, and then I'm just trying to get as much of the onion as possible. There's a lot of juice in there, so once I put that in the bowl, clean that up, and I am disappearing because I am crying my eyes out, and I'm trying to wipe everything down. I'm like, oh my god. So add 2 tablespoons of the ketchup, and then just mix really, really well. I'm not going to add the meat in right now because I don't want to overwork it. So see, there's a big chunk of onion in there, so just get rid of that. So just mix it really, really, really well. And if you want to add more salt and pepper, you can. Obviously don't try it, but add more salt and pepper, or some more garlic if you want. And then now I'm going to add the Gouda, and I love this Gouda. This cost me about $10.50 at Walmart. There's another one that was only $6, but there was no way that was going to be enough for this recipe. So I'm just slicing it up into tiny little cubes, or tiny enough cubes. Again, I'm just experimenting with this right now. You can, I'm just cutting up into cubes now. You can cut off the rind if you want. I do that later because I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I should cut off the rind. So I cut it up into cubes. My dog is like waiting for me off the side. You can't see her yet, but she's waiting for me off the side. So I cut up everything up, and then I'm going to move it in cutting off. Okay, so I'm going to be very meticulous about cutting off this rind here, because it was obviously a lot quicker if I just did it in the beginning and then chopped everything up, but then I had that second thought, and I'm like, okay, frick, I'll just do the rind. So this will probably take you a little bit less time, but since I was dumb and I didn't do that, so now I'm doing it now. So this is what happens. This is what happens when you try and dump in there, right? Yeah, absolutely. So chopping this up, I'm trying to get as much of it as possible off as possible, because you know what, I don't know what it tastes like. I just want to taste it without the rind. I do not want to mess it up on the first try like that badly. So I know what Parmesan tastes like, I know what brie tastes like, I don't know what this tastes like. I'm not ready to brisket right now, so just putting it off to the side, making sure everything's nice and pretty, and then getting ready to stuff the meatballs. Okay, so now it is on to the chicken. Now that the cheese is done, so it's on to the chicken. So I'm just taking it apart and just throwing it in the bowl, and from here, just gonna knead it, or like to mix it very, very gently. Again, I'm not gonna overwork the meat. Spatula works for a little bit, and then I decide, you know what, screw this, I'm gonna use my hands. No, I did not take my ring off. It's hard for me to get rings on or off these days, so the ring stays on, and I actually haven't taken this ring off really for like 8 years, so, or 9 years actually, so it's not coming off for nothing. So I'm just gonna make sure that I clean it very, very well. So just mixing it, kneading it. I have a prepared baking sheet with wax paper and coconut oil spray, so that's ready to go. The oven is already preheated to 400, and see, like, I got some big pieces of chicken or from onion in there. So now I'm just gonna form a ball about the size of a golf ball. I know that sounds really, really big, and it probably really is, but I like big meatballs in like my pastas and stuff like that. But I want it big enough that I can hold the pieces of cheese in it, and I'm only gonna have one, so it's a nice round size. And then obviously we want to keep it as proximate as possible for each one if they're similar. Grab a piece of cheese, stuff it in the middle, and just fold it over and keep it as much of a ball as possible. and then place it, and then just basically repeat until you have no more room on the pan. So in this case, I think I did like 16. No, maybe not. Like maybe 12 on this pan. And just try to keep it as, again, uniform as possible when it comes to the sizes, and just, you know, choosing wisely for the chunks, and making sure I'm not touching like every piece of cheese with my chicken hands. Just FYI. Okay, so that is my first batch of meatballs. We'll see how they turn out. I'm gonna make a smaller batch of these and put them on another pan. Dice up the Gouda a little bit smaller so that they are more bite-sized pieces, so I can freeze them and I can put them in, I can make them part of my like meat and veggie and healthy fat type of serving. But we will see how it goes. I don't know how much. Maybe I'll make about, hopefully I'll make about 7 or 10 of the rest of the batch here, and we will see how it turns out. Everything's an adventure, right? All right, I'll check back with you in about a half an hour. All right, bye. Okay, so at this point, I've already made the second pan of all the leftover chicken balls, and they're smaller, and I put whatever cheese I could in there so that it can cook properly. And then I'm just going to put the rest of the cheese in Tupperware and put it in the fridge or the freezer. I think in the case, I'm going to put it in the fridge and then use it throughout the week. And midweek, if I don't want any more, I'll just put it back in the freezer, and then I can use it for it later on. And then while everything is cooking, I am just going to clean up and tidy up so that when the meatballs come out, I can just prep them and put them away and then get them ready for the week. So, and yeah, that is how I'm checking on the meatballs. So I'm just going to test them. As soon as they get pulled out of the oven, I'm going to test them to just kind of see how spongy they are, and I think I put them in for another minute. And then that is it, and then the meatballs are done, and they look absolutely delicious, and they are delicious to taste. I swear to you, I promise you, they're so, so good. Okay, meatballs are finished. Right, Car? It's done? You good? She wants more. Okay, let me just show you.